everybody. Welcome back to the Bonsai Movie Crew. I'm the host this week, Karen. And as always, there's Joseph and Eric. And
Hi.
if you didn't notice, we have a new member. This is Madison.
What's up?
What's up?
She's my daughter.
Yeah, so
She joined the crew.
yeah, she's gonna join us for permanencies.
Permanencies.
Permanent CCs.
Is that a word?
Yeah, I made it up.
It is now, yeah.
Oh,
I made it up.
Yeah, we do that. That's what's the great thing about being part of the crew. You can make up words.
Yep. And it's gonna be in the dictionary next week.
Our dictionary.
Sweet.
Yeah, we're working on a bonsai dictionary.
Hold on.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
is
go ahead
it?
and write it
What
down.
is it called?
Write it down.
Permanencies.
Permanencies.
We're gonna put it in the dictionary. I'll come up with the definition later.
Come up with a
Permanencies.
definition later.
Yeah, so
Sweet.
here we are. And news. Go for it, Joseph.
News.
Joseph's got some fucking news.
What you got for us?
I got a few things. This pen
Usually he
sucks.
doesn't though. Usually he's like, "Oh, news." I do
Oh
news.
shit! Yeah.
What?
Wait a second. I forgot all about
What?
that part.
I do news.
I actually got a little bit of news this week. Had to kind of scrape the bottom of the barrel for it, but let's see here. So first off, we'll start from the bottom. So I don't know if anybody saw Chris Rock's stand-up that just aired
I did.
last week. I did too.
I didn't see the whole thing. I saw bits and pieces of
I
it.
watched the whole damn thing. So
You said you did or you did?
I did. So obviously Will Smith had to come back and
Oh, I did not see that.
say he didn't say anything bad or negative. He said that he was hurt. If anybody knows what I'm talking about the slap that happened a year
Slap
ago.
down.
Yeah, Chris
At
Rock
the-
finally
Slap around the
addressed
world.
his
Yeah,
side
the
of
slap
things.
that broke the internet.
Yeah.
So at the 94th Academy Awards last year, when Will Smith got on stage and slapped Chris Rock, said Will Smith has had the continued support of his. Okay, so this is what irritates me, and the reason why I wouldn't usually cover this because it's just whatever, but this pisses me off. Will Smith's Chris Rock slap brought him and Jada Pinkett Smith closer together, sources say.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm like, so you're telling me, so
his wife.
his wife, Jada.
Jada.
So Will Smith has had the continued support of his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, a year after the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air star slapped Chris Rock at the 94th Annual Academy Awards. A source tells ET the couple has been on a journey that has made them closer than ever. So you're telling me this motherfucker got up on stage, slapped somebody, and that made his wife love him more? So he had to go physically harm another man.
It sounds like a real healthy relationship is what you're
Yeah,
getting at.
well, yeah, exactly. I'm like, dude, so you're telling me that he got up on stage, slapped another man in the face, and humiliated him in front of millions of people, and it made your fucking relationship better? I'm glad you feel better, Will. You know?
Well,
And I'm glad Jada's doing really good,
Yeah.
the fucking whore.
and let's be real
Like-
here. I mean, like, Chris Rock waited how long to say anything?
Yeah, he waited a whole
Seriously.
year.
Seriously,
But
he
dude,
did
I
not say a
understand though.
word.
He was waiting. He wanted a platform like Netflix,
Sure.
a live audience where he could get up there and say it with no editing.
Sure.
So
sure.
he got up there and said what he had to say. I don't get why he did it, man.
But how many people could do that? How many people could bide their time
Yeah,
like that?
Exactly.
Not a lot.
Not a word. He didn't say a fucking word until now. So he got up there, and if you don't understand what we're talking about, get on Netflix, watch his special. Actually, just if you don't even want to watch the special, just go to the end of his special and watch the last 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, Alec
Because he
actually
goes on
sent
a
me a
fucking rant, dude.
Yeah, Alec actually
Is
sent
he
me a
angry
TikTok.
Oh
about it.
yeah, he's angry.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Will?
he's mad. No,
Chris
Chris Rock.
Oh.
Yeah, he's pissed. Of
Mhm.
course he's pissed. He
Sure.
humiliated him.
Sure.
Because they asked, like, oh, does it hurt? Did it hurt? He goes, it still hurts.
Yeah.
He goes, and he said it in a joking manner, but you could tell that it's like in a way that's like, he just,
Were they friends?
I mean, they weren't really friends, I would say, but they were acquaintances.
Well,
He
I think
had
it
a
was
lot
more
of
like-
respect for Will
Yeah, I was
Smith
gonna say I think
until
it was
then.
more like Chris Rock really liked Will Smith. Like,
Yeah.
he grew up listening to his music and stuff like
Right.
that. So like, it was one of those deals where it's like, don't meet your heroes. I guess like
I guess maybe. Well, they're
I mean,
about the same age.
sure, but I
Yeah.
mean, it was like he had a lot of as I guess a peer or whatever. He listened to his music.
He listened to his music. He supported him. He
liked
loved
his
him. You know what I
movies,
mean?
He was into,
but then
you
he
know.
does this shit, and it just kind of paints Will Smith in a very fucking weak manner, dude. Like, that dude has no balls, if that's the case. And to go and humiliate another man because of your fucking cunt wife really irritates
Well,
me.
and for their reaction to Chris Rock's reaction, or Chris Rock's, you know, coming out and talking about his side of things, their reaction is to say our relationship is much stronger.
Right.
That's your reaction,
Right. Well,
Seriously?
he also said that Will Smith did come out and say he was hurt by Chris Rock's
Okay,
performance,
so
because
leave it at that, though. Why do we need to hear
Well,
about your relationship, though?
he's not talking about his relationship. They're just saying that this is what sources have gathered.
No.
So, but either way, though, dude, like you're just rubbing salt in the wound, man.
Yeah.
And I think that Chris has come out and said what he needed to say. It's time to let the shit go.
Yeah.
Let it go. Let it be done.
Yeah, I agree.
So this is another thing. See, apparently the news was just trying to piss me off today. So this really bugs me because this is the kind of bullshit that you get out of celebrities nowadays. Pregnant Ireland Baldwin celebrates with mom Kim Basinger at her strip club baby shower.
What?
Yes.
That shouldn't even be in the same
what?
fucking sentence, dude. Strip club baby shower.
There's not a comma, a colon, and,
No.
and nothing.
Strip club baby shower.
Yes.
Yeah, like, dude, no wonder your dad was so fucking ignorant that he didn't check a loaded gun. I don't fucking care, dude. People are stupid.
Well,
Stupid.
Strip club.
What?
nothing. I got nothing for that. Nothing at all.
Apparently he
got
must be
nothing.
stupid. He gave birth to a stupid ass person.
No, I got nothing for that. Like he left Kim Basinger at whatever point for like this young chick, and he's a very angry man. So I just think that's karma coming around.
Oh, on him?
Are
Yeah.
they trying to get lubed up extra when the baby comes out? I mean,
That's what I don't
just
understand. It's like,
curious.
what the hell, dude? Like, you don't have a baby shower in a strip club. What is
No.
that? What kind of portrait does that paint for your child? I'm just wondering. But Kim Basinger's a
Mom,
fucking. She's.
where was my
I don't like
baby
that woman
shower
anyway. I
Well,
don't know.
yeah.
Showing pictures.
Well, Ireland doesn't really seem like she's ready to be a mom, in my opinion.
Apparently,
Anyway,
yeah. I don't think most people nowadays.
I
are ready to be
I
parents.
don't know what happened necessarily, but apparently there was a whole thing between her and Selena Gomez, and Ireland started it, and it had to do with her dating Bieber at one point. And Ireland was like really upset about her having dated Bieber way back in the day, and Selena Gomez was like literally her response was, "I'm 30. I don't care about this."
Right, and that's the best. That is the
Yeah.
best thing you could say.
Yeah, so
and
like,
good on you, Selena.
yeah,
Because,
absolutely,
right, like, but that's
That's the
a
only
girl,
reason I knew about it. Because
That's
I
also
saw
a female
her
who has,
response.
like, Selena Gomez has grown up like tremendously.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, she is a very mature person,
Mhm.
and like, I love like Justin Bieber getting all butthurt and like, oh, I miss her stuff. Like, she left you because you're a fucking idiot.
He still misses her.
I don't know. Does,
Well,
but-
he's with Ireland now, so he still misses her.
Yeah.
Yeah, come for me. Go ahead.
that girl is not even attractive either. She's not even attractive.
Oh,
Yeah, Ireland or whatever her name is. All right, so here's another one that decided to get on my nerves a little.
They all came for you this week.
They
apparently.
did. I was like scrolling through and it was like, what the fuck? You know?
what is this?
Yeah, what is this? I'm like, so all right,
Piss off
so
Joseph
everybody
week.
knows who Lizzo is, right?
Yes.
The overweight black lady or whatever. So Lizzo questions Victoria's Secret's new runway show with body inclusivity.
Inclusivity. Now
That's a-
I can't
I
say
can't
it.
say it.
I could always say it. Now I can't
Yeah.
say it. Thanks, Joseph.
Sorry, man.
not
Lizzo
even
questions
gonna
Victoria's Secret after iconic brand announces the return of its fashion show following a 4-year hiatus.
So she's giving them shit
Be-
for not having fat people in their show.
Exactly.
I'm a big girl. I don't want to be in it.
I just don't. I don't
I'll do it.
understand. Yeah, me and Eric will do it. So I don't understand. For one, this Lizzo bitch gets on my fucking nerves. I can't
Yeah.
stand her because she's all about like, body. What are they?
Yeah, the whole I know
Being
what you're talking
proud
about.
of your
Yeah,
body
being proud
and
of
that.
being fat and all that. Like, okay, here's what I'm gonna say about that. It's fine if you are proud of who you are as a person. It's fine if you're proud of being a big person or whatever. If that's who you want to be, that's fine. But also understanding that it's not fucking healthy.
Right.
So if somebody comes to you with a genuine concern, like, "Hey, you're gonna have a heart attack. Hey, I'm worried about you. Hey,
You're at a high risk for diabetes.
maybe don't eat that third pizza.
Yeah.
Like, we're
Third
worried about
pizza?
you. I'm just throwing out.
Jesus.
We're worried about you, right? Like, if they're coming at you at that with that kind of intention,
Uh-huh.
maybe listen to
Exactly.
it. They're not coming at you and
And
saying,
let's face it, dude. If Lizzo had the chance to be 120 pounds with a voluptuous
right
ass right now,
Yeah.
she'd be like, "Yeah, I'll take that."
yeah,
Like, let's face it.
I'm not
She's only
saying-
doing this because it builds a platform for her to stand on, so she can sit up here and shame everybody else for
Yeah.
being thin.
yes, exactly. There's a big difference. It's kind of like the same thing as, like, you know, where the whole
Disney
women
Plus.
women empowerment, right? So you've got that whole female movement, right, where it's like, oh, female power, but then in order to give females power, they think they have to push men down. You know, and it's the same thing with this, where it's like, oh, I'm
yeah.
fat, so since you're skinny, I don't like you because
I'm going to shame you for it.
okay, there's
Well,
a
hold on.
difference between bullying.
I want to express something here, because the difference between what she's saying and what actually is like day and night. Because what she's saying is they need to include more plus size women in there, and if they want to do that, that's okay. But here's the thing: those women, those models, work their fucking asses off to stay looking like that.
Yes,
Whereas
absolutely.
Lizzo's fat ass here is probably sitting at home eating all the fucking bonbons and drinking all the Bud Light in the fridge.
Right.
Just saying.
That's what I'm getting at. Is like, if somebody comes at you and they're saying, "Hey, I'm concerned for your health," blah blah blah. That's different than somebody coming at you and saying, "You're a fat bitch," blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
there's a difference between bullying and somebody coming at you
With
worried
concern.
with concern. Exactly. So it's fine to have body positivity, but also bearing in mind that it's not okay to push out into the world. Okay, into the world, that it's okay to be 500 pounds because it's
Exactly.
not.
It is not okay to be 500 pounds. And don't get me wrong, it's not okay to be fucking 80 pounds either. Like, that's also very unhealthy.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
you know, but at the same time, these girls work hard to be those models, to do that. They
Even
know
plus
what they're
size
doing.
models, they work
keep
very
their
hard
body
to stay
At a certain weight,
size.
certain size.
Yes.
You know,
certain
and
fit.
Lizzo just needs to shut her fucking mouth. I do not like that woman at all.
I like her song. It's on Just Dance.
I don't like her. She's
It's one of those things where it's like, don't put down another class of people just because you want to raise up yours. That's where I get angry.
So here's another one that really fucking irritated me. All the news today, man. So Prince
That was the headline actually this week. It was "Piss Off Joseph."
Piss off Joseph.
I seen it.
Joseph
So
Rant.
I seen
Podcast.
it.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's daughter, I can't even pronounce this kid's name. Lilibet. I don't know. Christened during intimate ceremony. If it's intimate, why does everybody know about it?
Right?
Just saying, Meghan and Harry, you keep telling everybody, we just want to be left alone. We want to be normal people.
That be normal.
I see your fucking faces everywhere, dude. Everywhere. I am so tired of seeing that ginger fuck's
Have you ever
face.
seen it where like it
Like-
looks like they had like actually they were like wearing masks and like the way they were staring?
Yeah, and
was
she's like, dude, she is the most fucking fake looking person I've ever met or seen. I've never met her. Because if I met her, she might walk away with a black eye.
Well, then she'd look a little more real, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
Not so plastic.
Not so plastic now, are you, bitch? Tenderize that eye. Tenderize that eye. So,
There is blood behind.
She's human after all.
yeah, she's not a robot or an alien. So, I'm just so sick of these fucking two, man, because they're like, we just want to be normal. We want to be left alone. But I see your faces everywhere. And you're on some big news channel saying this in front of millions of people. Like you're saying that because you want to come off as these innocent, just homely people, and you're not, dude. You're fucking rich. You're royalty, man. Whether
Well, they
you like
were.
it or not.
Right? Why would
They were.
They can't be left.
They still have the name, man. People still
They're not
refer to
royal
him as
anymore.
Prince
No,
Harry.
he renounced his
Yeah.
Who's
royal,
royal now?
his
The-
brother.
the rest of them.
Yeah, the rest of
The
them.
rest of them.
He renounced it.
He's not.
He was
king.
kind of
He was
forced.
king.
No, he wouldn't have been.
He was a prince.
Gotcha.
Well, they say that she was. I read somewhere that they were saying racist things about her.
Well, it wasn't just
and
that.
that-
Like Harry, before they got married, and I only know this because I watched some documentary about Diana. But there was this whole thing, like when he turned 18, about he was trying to renounce it then, and his brother talked him out of it because he was trying to renounce it when he turned 18 because of things that happened with his mom.
yeah, I've heard that.
And his brother talked him out of it, and it's happened about every few years since then where he's tried to renounce it, and his brother's always talked him out of it. And then when they got married, the racism stuff came up, and that was the end. He was done.
And it's all fine and good until all of this blows over and he's no longer famous. Then what? Then Meghan Markle's going to go on and
yeah, I mean,
find the next. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if he, and I think
So she's a
he
gold digger.
he may be okay.
I
with
don't
it,
know.
But
I don't know her
yeah.
personally, but they come off as a couple of fucking douchebags to me. Is what they come off as.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know about she does. I don't know enough about him. Like the only thing I've known.
I guess I really don't know a lot about him. Yeah, you're right. I can't say that about him.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So,
saying. Is like
he does seem like a genuinely nice guy.
Yeah, the renouncement, thing that I do know just from the documentary and the things that I've read gives me kind of a different shade for him, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know him, and I don't know
Right.
who he is as a person. But
I guess you're right there. I don't really know him that well.
Yeah.
I've
She
seen
comes off that way,
video of
but-
him he'll goof off with the kids and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and that's nice. That kind of shows like a down to earth kind of personality.
and he joined like the military when he didn't have to because he's royalty. He did
Right.
He did a lot of things he didn't have to do.
and that's cool. I
So,
guess.
I
I guess
mean-
I'm too hard on him, but I definitely don't fucking
You
like
just
her.
don't like his face, Joseph. It's okay.
His face really doesn't bother me.
Is it the redhead thing? You
No,
you
I don't
thing
even
against
care that he's a
redheads?
redhead.
No, it's not Eric's face. So.
That's what it is. You nailed it.
All right, so the last little bit of news I got here. I don't know if you guys ever saw those images of Cara Delevingne or whatever with her. The paparazzi got some image of her where she looked pretty fucking toasty on some drugs, and she was outside just acting erratically. It was pretty. Honestly, it was sad and fucking just showed, the true side of what some people can be,
Get into.
in Hollywood, So essentially, she was on drugs, and apparently, it says here that
Yeah.
Cara Delevingne reveals she entered rehab after concerning 2022 paparazzi photos. I was not okay, she said. The model and actress said she committed to a 12-step program and that the images of her looking disheveled at Los Angeles Van Nuys Airport were a wake-up call. I mean, if you saw the pictures or the video, you would understand. You'd be like, wow, she does really look fucking terrible, and I don't know what she's doing.
I just wonder though if she would have done the rehab thing if she hadn't been caught.
No, probably
that
not.
probably not.
You know what I mean?
Right, because obviously she was doing it to begin with. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah,
most of
going
the
back
time
to
these guys,
rehab's
it's
probably-
probably her publicist or something saying, "Dude,
Oh, you got
you need to
help.
get into therapy
Yeah.
or into
Or
rehab
your
because
You gotta
career's
make this
pretty
look
much
better.
shot.
yeah, you got to make it look better. Your fucking your
You're
whole
drowning.
career's
Yeah.
gonna go into shit."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that's all I had for news this week. Did you guys get all the fucking trailers I sent you this week?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I tried to
There was an assload
I
of trailers
almost,
this
the
week.
last
I
one I
almost
didn't
asked
watch.
you today, like,
Yeah.
do you have a job?
Yeah, right?
Did you get fired or something?
Well, every time I get on YouTube, there's like a new trailer.
yeah.
So I'm like, you guys just stopped responding to my trailers.
Oh, I got so busy towards the end of the
Yeah.
day. Like I was
The
I was
last one I
slammed.
didn't get to watch, but the other ones I watched.
That one was called The Tank. It actually looked pretty
That
good.
one looked all right. Yeah,
it was
I
a
watched that
monster
one right
movie.
before we came. And what was the other one? right before that.
Been so busy. Since
Oh,
I
the
got
one
off
with
work.
Chris O'Dowd. That one.
Oh
Looks,
yeah, the Apple.
that one
TV
looks like a heartstring puller. I probably won't watch it.
Yeah, that's
I
kind of
like
what I was
Chris
thinking. Like,
O'Dowd.
do I want to watch that, or do I want to just stay depressed?
I like Chris O'Dowd and all that, but I don't really like sad stuff, so I probably won't watch
He's
it.
been doing a lot of movies like that lately. Like he did
Funny enough,
Slumberland. He was in Slumberland.
Oh, I love that.
the
one.
the new one on Netflix, and he had a sort of
You mean Aquaman then?
what?
Aquaman.
No, Big George Prize.
No, it was Slumberland.
I know.
Big
You're
Door
talking about
Prize.
the Aquaman
The-
dude.
No, that's not him. We're talking about Chris
Oh
O'Dowd.
yeah.
I thought
Yeah,
that was
He's
Aquaman.
a funny dude. No, he was the uncle in the show, or in the movie.
Oh, you're talking
Yeah,
about
but he
the
he
old
played
dude.
that kind of character, like where he was kind of the heartstring puller. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
But if
I
you
don't-
haven't seen Slumberland, it's actually a really good movie. I was surprised with it.
my argument for those sad movies and stuff is always like, I don't know, life's sad enough. Why do I want to make it part of my entertainment?
Right.
I understand that. Yeah,
I don't.
That's why I haven't watched The Whale yet.
Yeah, that's kind of. I mean, I
want to watch it, and I want to support.
I don't really want to watch it. I don't need to.
What?
Good on you, Brendan. I just don't.
That's
need
how
to.
I feel too. That's exactly where I was going. I love Brendan Fraser. I would love to support him, but I just don't feel the need.
Good
to
on you,
watch that
Brendan. I'm
movie.
sure you did a wonderful job. I just don't need to see it.
Right? Yeah, because it looks like a very sad movie.
Yeah, I don't need sad movies in my life. There's enough sadness in the world.
right.
There's enough sadness I've dealt with in my life. I don't need it in my entertainment.
We don't need
Yep.
to see Brendan Fraser sad.
People are just
Yeah.
focused on depressing people right now.
I don't like it. I don't understand people that really like depressive stuff. No offense to them. Good on you if that's what you're into. I don't like it.
I agree.
What the hell have you been watching?
All right, so now we got to talk about what we've been watching. What about you, Eric? You want to start us out?
Yeah, I didn't watch very much.
Okay, but
I
very
got-
much still means you watched something.
I watched Hangover 3
It's
and
hilarious.
Yeah.
I recently rewatched
You
that.
watched Hangover 3?
yeah. And then I watched Vikings.
Vikings.
Yeah.
You sound like me every week whenever I was watching like fucking
Yeah.
It's Always Sunny or
That's-
something.
that's the
Like,
bad
I've been
thing.
watching It's Always Sunny still for like, you
That's
know,
the bad thing
4
about
months.
Vikings is so much is in it. It's so many seasons, so many episodes. I mean, I'm in season 5 right now, so I'm getting there. I'm almost there.
He's like, I'm trying to get through it.
Then once I finish that, I'll probably start up The Last Kingdom and start rewatching all those.
Why don't you watch something new?
I'm going to watch other things.
There's
but
certain
Last-
shows that are like
The Last
movies,
Kingdom's getting ready to have
they're like
another-
a warm blanket.
Oh.
Yeah, The Last Kingdom's getting ready to have another season come out.
So he's gotta
next
rewatch
month.
it,
So
so
I'm
he's
rewatching
refreshed.
all the seasons. And
It's like Madison. She just finished The Walking Dead. She's like, thinking about rewatching The Walking Dead. I'm like, you
I'm
just
like-
finished it.
I'm like
Just
that
like
with
the-
Scrubs. I could watch Scrubs
Yeah,
over and over and
Scrubs or
over and
The
over and over and
Office
over and
or-
over
Not me,
again.
something
man.
like that.
I watch it once. I'm like, all right, I'm good with that.
or
I
Community.
There's so many things.
Community,
I've
I
seen
could
over
watch
and over again.
Community
Stranger
over and
Things,
over.
I've seen that about 17 times.
Nah,
I think Madison's watched. She watched.
I wait until something's done.
How many times have you seen Once Upon a Time?
Oh, I couldn't get into that.
I
can't
could.
either.
I got into it whenever I was like probably 8.
I
Cody
tried
got me
to.
into it.
I tried to. I couldn't do it. Couldn't get
Yeah.
You
into
see,
it.
people, the reason why we thought it was a good idea to bring Madison on is it's nice having a younger perspective on some of these movies. And
For sure.
she was doing her own podcast, and it was hard for her to find people to do it with her. And I'm already doing a podcast.
She's
I'm
kind
like,
of an old soul. She doesn't.
yeah. So she she likes sitting down and watching these movies and stuff, and
I'm old.
yeah. So it's easy for her to watch them too because she just
It's an
watches
old
them
soul.
with
I
me.
didn't say you were old.
Yeah, I know.
You're not grunting to get up yet, so you're not old yet.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to walk yet.
Oh yeah,
We were all walking
Yeah.
up. You're like,
every step.
Feeling like Lizzo.
Oh my god.
What about you, Joseph? What you been watching?
I watched a few things this week. We've been watching Vox Machina. We got 3 episodes left.
I'm not ready. I don't want it to be
I don't want it to
over
end
yet.
either because it's the end of the 2nd season and it just aired,
I know,
which
you're-
means we have to wait forever for the next one.
Yeah, you're dragging it out too.
I am too. I'm savoring the flavor.
Like one
as they
episode a
say.
week. That's what we've been doing.
It's really all we've been watching too is like 1 or 2 episodes a week. We watched Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. So that's like my second favorite, and it still holds up. It's still a good movie. I was
Yeah.
happy. Like, I love watching the Harry Potter movies. You're like, man, takes me back. This is good shit. Been watching Last of Us. Last of Us has one more episode, and for this first season, it's a really good season so far. I'm
watching
really
that.
happy
I'm
with
gonna
it.
end up watching it.
Yeah, you don't need to play the game to watch the fucking show.
I don't know.
I
I probably
wanted to.
end up watching it at some point.
It's good. It's really good.
I'm gonna play a game first.
I want
We
to play
watched-
the game first too.
I could care. I have the game, and I still haven't beat it.
I'm,
I'm like that though. I'll buy a game and then play it halfway through and then stop playing
I don't
it.
play games anymore, really.
It's hard. It's hard to keep my attention.
Yeah,
It is a
I've been
hard
playing
game.
that Hogwarts Legacy. That's
But I'm not
kind
good
of
at
taking up
games
some of
either.
my time. So,
I have that, and like I said, I
gonna get
haven't
back
played it
into
in like 2
reading.
weeks.
huh?
I want to get back into reading, so I probably won't get back into playing games.
Maybe
I
you
don't-
should
still don't have
read the
time.
reading
Hogwarts
another
books.
book, too.
Maybe I won't.
Maybe you should.
No, if the movies can't hold my attention, the books definitely won't.
I recently just read Five Nights at Freddy's: Silver Eyes, the first book. I read it again because whenever I was 10, I read it, but I don't remember anything from it. 'cause I
Yeah,
was
Madison's a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, so she's excited about it. But we're excited for it because it's got Matthew Lillard in it.
I'm excited for that too because he was Stu. And,
Yeah, he was
and
Stu.
then he was Shaggy. I'm excited for him.
Yep.
I have a lot of Stephen
I
King
got
books.
really excited whenever I figured
Yeah,
out
what?
who he
A
was
lot of
playing
Stephen
as,
King
too.
books.
Oh.
A lot.
How many of them are dads?
None. I bought all my own. Thank you.
Just make
and
sure you
then-
didn't steal from dad.
Also, we watched The Exorcist for her last podcast. If you guys are interested in watching that or listening to her podcast, they're still live. It's the Mad
Live,
Hatchet
you mean
Horror Hour.
up.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So we watched The Exorcist, and that could not hold my attention. I kept falling asleep.
I watched the podcast.
I hadn't seen it in like since I was a little kid, and
I'm good.
I don't like that movie.
I'm good.
Go ahead, Karen. What do you got?
I had a cousin that looked
I just
like her.
there was
No.
a couple of things like the trip he was on at the beginning.
Pea soup.
That statue that they show
Yeah.
was a statue of Pazuzu,
Right.
and that was supposed to show that there was a background between the two of them. There's a lot of things that
I
you
got that.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you miss because of the. I think what they were trying to do, it's boring. I'll give you that. It's boring because what they were trying to do is they were trying to take the book and transfer it to the movie and not change the media in any way, and so it transfers very boringly because you can't, when you transfer a book to a movie, the media
not the
has to
same.
change, right? Like you have to take a movie and make it stimulating visually and with dialogue and everything else, whereas a book,
It's your imagination.
yeah, you can use your imagination, you can read the dialogue yourself, you can, all of those things. So I think that with the movie they kind of messed up the first one with just kind of taking the book and going, here it is. And so the first one it kind of falls flat because of that. And then also it was the 70s. So a lot of 70s movies, if you go back and watch a lot of 70s horror, even the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, kind of has long drawn out boring parts to it, right? Except for the gory scenes and some some
Right.
of the other things. So
That's
it's sort of a victim of the time, a victim of the
And I know
book,
that.
and a victim of certain other things.
Aren't they
So,
remaking it? They were supposed to be-
I think they were going to. I haven't heard anything about that in a really long time.
There was a new Exorcist movie that just came out last year.
Yeah, but I don't think it was it wasn't
tied to these.
yeah, it wasn't tied to this one.
Gotcha.
So The Exorcist is actually the one movie that actually that's where my fear of poltergeist and demonic possession kind of stemmed from. But then I think Exorcism of Emily Rose is what really got me like, oh fuck that shit.
Right.
Because
Well,
I can't get
The
into
Well,
it.
Exorcism
it's-
of Molly Hartley was the first exorcism movie I'd ever seen,
yeah.
besides The Conjuring and stuff. But
Yeah. It was
Omen.
more this one was just more like,
that fucked me up. Because Andrew.
Oh yeah. But like yeah, Andrew looked just like that kid.
Yeah.
But like more like victim of the time and a victim of the book. And then like, when you guys were doing the podcast, when you said that you didn't understand why they showed him on that trip and stuff, that's why I brought up the statue and
Gotcha.
why I was telling you about that.
It was.
Like,
I knew why they were showing us the trip, but it was so long and drawn
yeah,
out.
they They could have done better with transferring it from a book to a movie, because I read the book when I was young, and I saw the movie, of course, when I was like 3, and so I don't know. And of course, the spider walk, that was part of the extended thing. That wasn't part of the original release. It just stuff like that. I mean,
So we did watch the extended version?
Probably. I was gonna say it seemed
Yeah.
a lot longer than.
yeah, it was the extended version, and there was a few other things, but I don't remember all of them now.
No, I'm good. Any demonic possession kind of movies fucks me up. I'm good.
And also, I watched the Chris Rock stand-up special on Netflix, which was actually not too bad. Some good classic Chris Rock, and it was good. I liked it. I liked the. He had some good jokes in there, and he also, like I said, the Will Smith thing at the end was something that really, I think everybody's just been craving to hear. You know, about.
Everybody's
so.
been wanting to hear his side. Yeah.
And so we finally got to hear that, and that alone was worth sitting. It's only an hour-long stand-up special, so it was worth waiting and worth sitting through, and I liked it. I like Chris Rock, though. I think he's a great comedian.
Yeah.
There's some views that he has that I'm kind of like, I'm not, maybe not so much, but you know, but everybody's also entitled to their own opinion, so, and I'm okay with that. And I like Chris Rock, and I thought it was a good stand-up.
Yeah. What about you, Madison? What you got?
I watch a lot of TV.
That's fine.
I'm homeschooled.
You
so-
go nuts.
Okay. I finished watching The Walking Dead, not last night, but the night before last night, so I'm excited about that. I started watching Supernatural. I'm 4 episodes into that, and then,
Is this your first time watching it?
yeah.
Good job. Okay.
I don't think I could get through it a second time.
I kind of want to rewatch it,
The Walking
but
Dead.
I don't know if I can do it. No,
No,
Supernatural.
Oh.
I'm only on. I'm still only on season 11. I've been trying to watch the goddamn show for like 3 years.
I love that show. Sorry. Go on.
We were watching Vox Machina, and I watched a little bit of Stranger Things with Mackenzie whenever I went to go stay the night at her house. I watched the 4th Harry Potter, which was the Goblet of Fire, and the 6th one, I forget what it's called.
Half Blood Prince.
Yeah, the Half-Blood Prince. And then we watched The Exorcist, and then we watched What We Do in the Shadows. I watched a little bit of that with Ada yesterday, and
Like
then
the
movie?
movie or the show?
the show.
I love both.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with either.
No.
It was funny.
I finished
so.
the
Good
entire like season, the show, in like a weekend.
Yeah.
I just
So
like
did-
sat
so
there and
did
watched
Ada.
it like I couldn't stop.
She was
good
like,
shit.
"No, it's over." And then she looked it up. She's like, "Good, they're coming out with another season."
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't think it's gonna stop until people stop watching it. From what I hear, is they're doing a really good job with the show.
Oh
so.
yeah, they are. Oh, it's
From what I
amazing.
saw, it was hilarious.
I've only seen like a
so-
few episodes.
Oh,
so.
you got to get back into
I need
that.
to,
It's
yeah.
hilarious.
I love the movie.
It's
so-
every bit as funny as the movie.
Yeah.
Every bit.
Yeah, the movie was great.
Okay, and then I watched Dragon Ball Super Broly again. We don't need to talk about how many times I've watched that one.
I think we've all watched it a lot because of your brother.
For me, I'm rewatching the IT Crowd.
Speaking of Chris O'Dowd.
That's what I was. Yeah, speaking of Chris O'Dowd, since we finished Archer, I needed something else to watch.
I love
like,
the IT. I've seen that whole series.
Yeah, I needed another 20-minute show,
Yeah.
and I was like, you know,
I love the IT crowd.
I do too. It's great.
I thought it
Then-
was called the It Crowd.
No, it's the IT Crowd.
They are the it crowd.
Yeah, it kind of works both ways.
Yeah,
but,
I guess it could. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because they're computer people, and
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha.
it's hilarious. I finished that show, that My Encounter with Evil, the one about people that were like possessed and stuff. I watched Existenz. I seen it before, but it was really
Is that the one with Jude Law?
Yeah, it's been like 100 years since I
Yeah.
seen it, and I'll tell you what, I remember really, really liking it the first time I saw it. This time I was kind of like, meh.
I watched it years ago, and that was my reaction to it.
The first time,
Yeah, the first time I was just like, It was okay.
I watched it.
It was
the
more
first
than
time.
I thought it would be. You know.
Yeah, I watched it the first time and remember kind of like, oh, that was good, and like this time I was like, meh, it was all right.
Yeah.
Maybe it was because I've already seen it before, so I kind of already knew like twists and turns, but I don't know. I watched the Snowtown Murders, which was really good. Our Joe Bob movie this week was Popcorn, and we watched The Naked Gun.
What's Joe Bob?
Joe Bob.
Joe
Briggs.
Bob is
It's the last drive-in on.
Yeah,
Shudder.
he's the last drive-in. He's a pretty famous, mostly B-rated horror host, and so he hosts these movies. You watch it, and he gives you little tidbits and tells you a little bit about the movie, background stuff, different things, and
He's pretty much drunk the whole time too.
Oh, sweet.
not so much anymore.
No?
Mm-mm. I mean, he still drinks during, but nah. I mean, I don't even remember him being really drunk during the other ones either. He drank, yeah, but
Yeah. He always comes off to be very drunk to me.
he's just
It's just who. That's who he
he's
is.
just Southern.
It's just how he is.
I mean, he's Southern. But yeah, that was our Joe Bob movie this week, and that's all I got for that. So,
All right.
Let's talk about the movie.
I guess we got to get into the movie now, which this week was Drive. So Drive was 1 hour and 40 minutes. It was made in 2011, starring Ryan Gosling as the driver, Carey Mulligan as Irene, Bryan Cranston as Shannon, directed by Nicholas Winding Refn, and written by Hossein Amini. That was the screenplay, and James Salas, he wrote the book.
Would we watch recommend? Are you gonna do that first? Or?
We usually do this part, and then
Oh,
we do the.
I don't remember. I never.
Jesus.
Remember. Do we? Hold
Here's
on a
the
second.
synopsis, and then we'll get into would we watch and recommend. Joseph.
Oh, I guess it is.
It's
intro
right
to
there.
movie and then
Yeah.
intro.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
God.
What episode is this that we've?
We're
It's in the
we're
third.
almost
We're working up on
we're almost
30.
30 deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a clicking. I gotta put it down.
I
I gotta put it down.
Driver is a skilled Hollywood stuntman who moonlights as a getaway driver for criminals. Though he projects an icy exterior lately, he has been warming up to a pretty neighbor named Irene and her young son Benicio. When Irene's husband gets out of jail, he enlists Driver's help in a $1 million heist. The job goes horribly wrong, and Driver must risk his life to protect Irene and Benicio from the vengeful masterminds behind the robbery. So, Eric, we'll just keep the same thing. Would you watch again, and would you recommend?
Yeah, I would watch again, and I would recommend it.
Okay.
Where can I go with it?
That's really all you have to say at this
That's,
point.
yeah, that's all you got to say.
That's all you got. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. We're not doing the rating yet, so
Nope.
we'll get to it.
No, you're good. How about you, Joseph?
How do we do this again, Joseph?
I think this time around I liked it a lot more than I did the first time.
You just have to say, would you watch it?
I
Would you
do. I would watch it again, and
Yeah.
yeah, I would totally recommend it. Yeah, 100%.
Okay. How about you, Madison?
Let's go into more detail.
I would watch it again if it was like, if I was staying the night at someone's house and they were like, "Hey, what should we watch?" I'd be like, "You guys want to see a cool movie?" Oh, and if they were like, "Yeah," then I'd be like, "Cool, I know what to watch." Like, but if they said no, I'd be like, "Oh, okay."
Then let's just watch Sabrina.
No, but I would definitely watch it again. Not by myself. I don't watch movies by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you'd recommend it to other people, and okay. I
do.
would watch again, and I would recommend.
Feel differently about it now, don't you?
Man, okay. Let me just.
I
let me
fucking
just-
knew it.
listen.
I was like, Karen's gonna have the same outcome as me. We're
Listen.
gonna feel different.
I want you to read. I want you to read my last. Can you read that?
It
I
was-
was-
Can you read it?
It was wrong the first time.
I was wrong the
Oh,
first
I was
time.
I was wrong the first. Same here.
I was so wrong the first time. Jeremiah, do you hear me? Because I didn't tell him.
Oh,
I said I was wrong the first time I watched this. I was wrong.
I will say that this movie, the first time I watched it,
I
I just
was
couldn't
not,
get into it.
I was not blown away
I was
at all.
not. Yeah, I was like, okay. But this time I watched it, and I was like, man,
I wonder, like, was
this
I
movie is really good. Actually,
was I on drugs the first time I watched it?
Yeah,
or-
I don't know if maybe I just wasn't paying attention enough, or but
I
like
know.
whenever the like, especially whenever the first like initial bit of like excitement happens, whenever that girl gets her face blown off.
That was
Yeah,
awesome.
I was like, what the fuck?
I had
This shit
that
just got
kind of
real
written down. I
gory
said-
real fast.
said setup question mark, and I was like, oh, she fucked up.
Yeah. Look, I remember the first time I watched this thinking it was boring.
Mm-hmm.
And
Probably because there wasn't very much dialogue at the beginning.
There's not a lot
There's
of
not
dialogue.
but that
either.
that really doesn't bother me. I just remember
But back
coming
in-
away from this movie and going, this was boring.
Yeah.
But
Back in
how
the
could
day,
I
you
have
probably-
thought that?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, how did I watch this before and not get into
That's
it?
what I'm saying. Like back
But
when you guys
I
were
don't need
younger,
dialogue. I really don't. Most of the movies that I like because they don't have things that other movies.
Yeah, because a lot of it is expressed through the acting.
Yeah, like I like
Yeah.
A Quiet Place because it doesn't have a lot of dialogue. I like.
the 80s score music was kind of.
Oh, I love that.
I thought it was
I
good.
love that. I actually
didn't really.
I liked it. I
like
dug
the
it.
even
80s
even
score,
before
but-
I liked this the second time, I actually already have the soundtrack. Like
Yeah.
I love the soundtrack. I've loved the soundtrack since the first time I seen
I
this.
didn't think it went well.
I love the soundtrack.
I liked it. I liked the opening scene whenever they first start out. He's in the car. You know, he says, "You got 5 minutes. That you know what you do before and after that window."
That's
I
all.
don't
blah.
care about.
Exactly. So they get in the car, and this just driving was so realistic. Like he drives, and like he's got the CB radio and all that stuff. He's listening to them, and
He's not giving a shit about what they're talking
yeah,
about.
he don't
or
give a
what
fuck
they-
about them in
Mhm.
the back. He's concentrating on what's going on the road, in the sky, and he just knows how to do everything. It's so smart, so
Yeah.
smart.
And he
is real
pulls in.
smart.
He pulls into that stadium and
Yeah.
literally just gets out of the car and walks.
Yeah.
Doesn't even give a
He-
shit
that-
about
he
what's
knew-
going on with them.
Yep.
He just gets out of the car.
He
and
knew
walks.
that's where he was going. That's why he was playing the game on.
Oh
radio.
yeah. No, he
He
had a
everything
plan.
timed
It's
out
just
methodically.
Yeah.
and that's what made him so good at his job. And
Yeah.
I love that scene because it really set him up as a character.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
right off the bat,
Oh,
you
yeah.
learn. You pretty much learn everything you need to know about him within that
Right,
first
yeah.
5 minute scene.
Yeah.
So from there, he gets into that, and then like, but whenever he slips that hat on and slips out, I was like, dude, fucking gene. Like
How
that is
fucking
yeah, smooth.
Jeremiah loves this movie so much that he actually knew a lot of trivia
Before you. went
before I did any
Mm-hmm.
research at all. But he told me this before we started watching the movie because he it's kind of like his thing for this movie. So I thought I'd just go ahead and say it. But Jeremiah said that Bryan Cranston made up most of his lines for this movie. A lot of his dialogue is completely made up because he thought his character needed to talk a lot to make up for the lack of talking on Ryan Gosling's part.
That, and I think it fits his character.
It does, but there wasn't a lot of dialogue for him in the script.
Yeah.
But he kind of brought it to the director and said, you know, like, hey, it doesn't really make sense that I don't talk, so I'm just going to talk.
You know what this movie reminds me of? Is it reminds me of a Quentin Tarantino movie, minus the dialogue.
Yeah.
If you added all of Tarantino's dialogue to this movie, it's a Tarantino movie.
You know,
It
I
could
don't,
have been, yeah.
I don't agree with that because, and I can't explain it any better than this. It's missing his ego.
His ego.
You're not wrong there.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
I don't know how to explain it
I
any
guess
better
the
than that.
flair that he would have added to it, yeah, I could see that.
It's
I know
missing
what you're
his
saying.
ego, and that's
Yeah.
the only way I can explain it. And but it's a welcome. It's a welcome, not there in this.
Right, yeah.
I don't want it there, because the toned downness in this adds the focus where it should be.
I like that Driver don't say a lot. He don't
Mm-hmm.
talk a lot, and whenever he does, and I love one of the things that I love most about his character. The only time you see him smile is whenever he's looking at that girl, or looking at Irene.
Yeah.
That's the only time in the movie he smiles. Mm-hmm. Well, him and the kid, her
Or
and
with
the
the
kid.
kid, yeah.
Yeah. So I love that, and I didn't realize back whenever I watched this, because this is pre Oscar Isaac hype, but Oscar Isaac is in this movie, and I'm like, dude, I fucking love this. I didn't even realize it was him
Yeah.
until. So
The one thing I love about Ryan Gosling is like nobody does under pressure like him.
he's got the face for it. He's got that
Yeah,
look.
he can completely be under pressure. He can completely, but he's just
It's like a not easily
Even-
phased.
even keel. And I'll tell you, the first movie I ever seen him in was Murder by Numbers with
Sandra Bullock.
yeah. And I remember the first time I watched that and seeing him in that.
I remember him
movie.
from Hercules.
I never seen that.
He was very young.
I just remember him in Murder by Numbers. It was the very first movie I ever saw him in, and I saw him in that movie, and I was like, that dude is ugly as fuck.
He
I knew
was
I
too.
recognized
And then,
him from
like,
somewhere.
Later, I saw him in another movie, and I'm like, hello. And then I found out it was the same person. I'm like, nah, no, it ain't. How could it be? And I go back
Yeah.
and watch Murder by Numbers. I'm like, he's still
In
ugly as
certain,
fuck. Like,
in
how-
certain
how is-
scenes, like there's a scene in this where he's like leaning against her doorway or something inside her apartment, and he has that look on his face like, God damn, I kind of want to fuck him right now.
I mean, I'm telling you, like, he is
Damn.
good. Like,
He's a good looking
but
dude.
I'm telling you, like, in Murder by Numbers, I thought he was ugly as fuck. And
He was,
I
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I know what
thank
you're talking
you.
about. I was thinking, like, he's not attractive. He's got that, like, big ass forehead and shit.
And I wonder, like, part of it, though, is because I really hate assholes. I really hate people who are
Could
full
be.
of themselves. And he was in that movie, boy.
Yeah.
He was so full of
he was a
himself.
spoiled fucking brat.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, ugh.
Yeah. But now it's like looking at him like he's married to Eva Mendes and, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, he's a good looking dude.
Yeah.
Do you think he was a good looking dude?
The main guy?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well,
No, not
I can
really.
kind of get it because, like, guys like her age or whatever, they look like babies to me. So I'm
They're
sure
like-
that he looks like an old
They're
man
like
to
baby
her.
jackasses.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I don't know.
Everybody here in this town is ugly.
I live
Well,
in this
he's not
town.
in this town though.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling's not in this town.
It killed me that the husband, what was his name, Standard? Who the fuck names their kid Standard?
I
by the
know.
way?
I thought the joke was funny. Can I get the deluxe edition?
That was funny. Yeah.
Deluxe edition.
But like, how kind of ridiculous is it that a stranger knows how to handle your kid
That's
Better
and
than
you,
you do.
and you don't? You know,
Yeah.
that whole situation where he gets beat the fuck up and a stranger has to come in and swoop in and handle the fucking situation.
Mm-hmm.
How?
I think that it's
I
a
mean,
product
how-
of him being a selfish prick for so many years and in and out of jail and prison and doing bad things. Obviously, he was a selfish individual before all these events. So it only shows the character.
Yeah, I'm
You
just
know.
saying yeah, you're right. It shows exactly the kind of person he is.
Yeah.
It's so freaking I don't know. It's just it was one of those situations where you're sitting here and you're watching it and like I guess as a parent, I'm like, how do you look at yourself in the mirror? Like how do you
Yeah, right.
just
And I get it. It seemed
ugh.
like he was actually trying
yeah, this time
to be
around,
a decent
yeah.
person, you know, and he was like, I owe the money to these people and blah blah blah, you know,
Yeah.
and he didn't want to do it. He even admitted, he goes, I don't want to do the job.
He said I'm not going to. He
Yeah.
literally flat out said I'm not going to.
You know, but driver's like, well, you know, he's not helping him for him. He's helping him for
The
kid.
girl.
the kid
Yeah.
and the wife.
I think if it wouldn't been for Driver, he probably would not have done it.
Exactly.
Which, you know, I mean, that's the sad part about all this is that, you know, you do get the idea that he was trying to turn around this time and he was trying to do the right thing.
right.
You know, so you do see the father as like, you know, in that situation, you're like, man, I'd feel like such a piece of shit. But you're also seeing that
And-
he is trying
yeah.
to,
and the sad
know.
part is like driver is such a good person.
yeah,
That whenever he got shot and died, he's like, oh fuck, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he gets out of the car and he's actually
he almost
is devastated by it. He's like,
well,
holy shit.
he broke his own rule.
Right.
Getting out of the car.
Did you notice he
Oh,
broke his
got
own
out
rule?
of the
He
car.
got out of the car. He didn't immediately drive away. He almost you see in his face where he got out of the car and he's like, "What am I doing?" Like for a second, you know what I mean? He got out of the car and he almost goes over to him, and it
But
takes him a
once the
second
shots
to
were
realize,
He's gone.
"Oh shit! Like what am I doing?" And
I
then he
got-
gets back in
yeah.
the car. He
Yeah.
broke his own rule, so there, that right there tells you that he's in it. Like he's in it emotionally.
You're right.
But you know, it kills me though because like the type of person that Driver is kind of an enigma, because the type of person that can, for example, turn around in an elevator and stomp the shit out of somebody's face
Yeah. After
Until it's
and
like-
not even
Yeah.
blink, can also have the kind of emotion that it would take to get that close to somebody that he was in love with his wife is an enigma.
And I want to talk about that scene because in that scene says a lot without saying anything.
Yes.
So-
I wanted to talk about that
There's a
too.
lot of
So
scenes like that.
obviously he knows the guy has a gun, blah blah blah, and he moves her to the back so he can fucking stomp obviously this dude's face into into the next
Oblivion.
into oblivion, and in doing so, like, but before he does that, he just lays a big ass kiss on her, the slowest motion of kiss ever, and then like and then proceeds to stomp the shit out of this dude. and then in doing that, he knows that he's like, this is
It's
the
over.
only-
She's not-
he's like, I'm about to end this. I have to end this, and I have to let her go. And he like moves her back, lays one on her because it's the only opportunity he's going to get to do it. So he does it, and then stomps the shit out of this guy, and she essentially moves out of the elevator.
But you also know that she also sees him in a different light now too.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's
And
what
that's-
and that's what
yeah.
it was he just didn't
He
want
knew.
to. He's like, as soon as she sees this,
Yep.
it's over with.
Yep. She's gonna see me for this, and there's gonna never be. She's never gonna see me as anything else but this.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
Someone that could be, that kind of vicious.
She's never gonna see me as anything else
I'm
but a
surprised
psycho.
she even let him kiss her. Because
she did,
her
but
husband just died.
But she didn't
Emotional
know anything
distraught.
else other than he died. He gave her the very bare minimum of the information, other than he was trying to help him, and that he died.
I mean, like, her husband just died.
She didn't care about him anymore. If you didn't gather that, I mean, they
Yeah.
were
As soon as
They
he
weren't
got
happy.
out, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hell,
they were dating. They were going on dates and stuff before
Yeah.
he got out of prison.
Yeah, I know that.
that's something
yeah.
I put on here. I said she's married wearing a ring when she grabs his hand in the car.
Mm-hmm.
I said, and then part of me says, why put a guy on a leash when you know you're waiting on your husband and introducing him to your child?
Yeah.
I don't think it was something that she intended though, because it's definitely like she didn't go out of her way to pursue him. He pursued her, and then it escalated into something else. And she had to. And all women are the same. They all are looking for that sort of
Fathering-
security.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So she saw the way he treated her son, treated her. He obviously wasn't a jailbird. He had a job, a good,
Yeah.
a job, two jobs
He was
actually,
wrong.
huh?
He was just never caught.
Right. But she also, I think she saw it as, this guy could be something to build a life with. And women are attracted to that.
I think that it was sort of one of those deals where, like you said, she didn't pursue him, and he knew perfectly well. She didn't lie. I mean, she said, "My husband, he's in
Right,
prison." She didn't hide anything.
Yeah.
He knew exactly the situation. So, I mean, there was no hidden. There was on either part.
Right.
Right.
Nobody was hiding anything. So both
And he
of them
didn't have
knew
a
perfectly
I mean,
well.
he had a problem with it, obviously, but at the same time, he was also like very understanding.
Mhm.
Gave her the space, until they walked back into his life again.
Well, and I think he honestly, at this point in time, okay, they haven't been dating long enough for him to be like, are you gonna fucking divorce him or what? Or B, they haven't been together long enough for him to pay for a divorce. She certainly doesn't have the money, So I mean, like, there's all kinds of elements here that the timing of this, couldn't have been worse, for any of this to happen. So, they're doomed from the beginning. As soon as they find out he's getting out of jail, this whole love story is doomed.
Yeah.
From that
Yeah, it was
time.
all fine and good for the first third of the movie,
Mhm.
but after that, it's downhill.
Yep.
So
I thought he was going to beat the shit out of that dude in the diner. The one that walked up to him and
Yeah.
said, "Hey, I got another job."
Oh yeah,
I love that
yeah.
too. He's like, if you don't
I'm gonna
shut
kick
up right
your
now, I'm going to kick your teeth out. Kick your teeth down the back of your throat.
I was like, "Damn, diner
So
got
calm,
serious."
cool, and collected. Like, I'm telling you, nobody does that like Ryan Gosling. Nobody
Yeah,
can
he does
pull
a really
that.
good job.
Calm,
He's a great
cool, and
fucking
collected.
actor.
He
Oh,
really
yeah.
is for sure. I didn't understand why Standard didn't run right out after Blanche. Like after she had the money,
I didn't.
he's in there for like another 3 minutes.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
That
understand that
happened in the
either.
first robbery too.
I didn't understand that either. I'm like, what's he doing? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, why wouldn't he just walk out with her? Unless he was doing something where maybe he was tying them up or.
I mean, yeah, but
You
there.
know,
it,
I think
it
he was
just
just staying back,
didn't-
holding the gun, making sure she got out with the money. So that
But
way
she
they
got well out. She was in the car for a good 2
didn't- Yeah,
minutes.
I don't know.
And why was she wearing heels?
That's what I. Why would you wear heels?
I don't know.
That bugged me. I don't know.
I know that scene in the hotel room where she goes into the bathroom and you see that dude outside there. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. But then she, like, her whole head just obliterates.
Mhm.
You're like,
Right.
holy shit,
Like,
dude.
whoa, my god.
It's one of those deals where it's like, you see him see that out of the corner of his eye and immediately react, right? And I'm thinking to myself, like, what's his background? And then I immediately think, I don't want to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because again, it's another one of those things, like, it's better that I don't. I don't want to know, because, like, whatever you're going to tell me is not nearly as cool as what I'm thinking.
It's
like,
not
what
nearly
I'm...
as cool as just not knowing.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's one of them. And it's funny because, like, we bitch about not enough gore. In this movie, it wasn't meant to have gore,
But it
had gore in all the right spots.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you're like, they utilized it very well. You know, like, and it was like that part where he, like, kicks that dude's head in the elevator.
Oh yeah.
That was, like, utilized so well, and then you only see him kicking in his head for, like, a
It
split
was supposed
second.
to be much worse.
Was it? See, and I'm okay with that split second.
Smashing
You know what I
on a
mean?
watermelon.
Just to give you that little shock.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's same with the shotgun to the head and you know, or even the part, honestly, whenever they...
Took the shrapnel out of his arm.
Huh?
Took the shrapnel out of his arm from the shot.
Well,
shotgun.
no, not so much that as much as, like, whenever he cuts Bryan Cranston's arm open.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
tore me up.
I was like,
Yeah,
Jesus
I was
Christ.
upset Shannon died.
I knew he was going to, though. I remembered. But it was like, I didn't remember how he died, but I remember that he died. And I was still tore up.
I wasn't
Like-
expecting him to die.
It's funny because all the people that you like Bryan Cranston, you see him die and you're like, God damn. But then, like, the one person that you want to see really get fucked up, you don't see him die at all. Which is Ron Perlman's character.
Yeah, like, I laughed, okay? Like, I laughed when he goes to get him. Yeah, because he started this whole fucking mess. He
He
should
really
have gotten
did.
it worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, like, he goes after him, right? And Ron Perlman does this whole thing, like he's gonna run into the ocean. Like, where are you
That's
going?
what I said. I was like, are you running
Where the
towards
fuck
the
are you
ocean?
going?
But that just shows the intimidation
Why would you
factor
run
there.
into the ocean?
Yeah, I'm like, what are you gonna do? Go swim with the sharks? Like,
I mean, what
it's
are you
nighttime.
doing?
Sharks are by the fucking beach.
that's what I understand. I'm like, why would you go towards the ocean? Like, you're better off trying to run around this dude. You'd be. I
Yeah.
thought that was funny. And then
Yeah,
he
it's
just drowns.
dry
land, not
Then he just
water.
drowns his ass.
Yeah. Which I guess drowning is pretty awful.
In his.
In
yeah.
your eyes, a lot of
Ugh.
people say it's a peaceful way to go.
Bullshit.
I couldn't imagine.
No, they say it's just as bad as
How do they
being
know?
burned alive.
How?
They say it's worse than being burned alive.
Yeah. Okay, I'll believe that.
I'll just take a bullet to the face, thank you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just shoot me in the face, all right?
I'd rather be shot in the heart.
No,
You
because
still
your brain
feel that.
still
Your
goes
brain's
on
still gonna
I don't
be-
for like another 7
If
minutes.
I have a funeral, I want them to see my face. They don't have to see my heart.
I'm not going to have a funeral. It's a waste of money.
Yeah, it is. I just
Just cremate me.
cremate me because
Throw
I'm
my
telling you right
ashes
now,
somewhere.
if you cremate me, then you know I'm dead. If I wake up in a box, I'm gonna be so pissed. I'm gonna come back and haunt every fucking one of you.
That's it. I'm going to bury
I
you
will.
now.
No, you're not. It's already in my will.
I will talk to Jeremiah.
It's already in my will. I'm getting burned. Irene looks like a teenager.
She does.
She
though.
does, yeah.
She does.
Like she looks like a
Young.
baby.
Yeah. She does. She looks very young.
Okay.
But they do mention that she is younger.
25.
She was
She'd
17.
be 25, yeah. So
Yeah.
because the kid was 8.
She was 17.
I think it's her
18 when
hair.
she had him.
I think it was
Yeah,
her hair
maybe.
that kind of did it.
I've never seen two blonde people together before. Like in a relationship. Never seen them married.
It happens. Quite a bit.
Them getting blonde people marrying each
Oh,
other.
yeah.
I've never
Yeah.
seen blonde people together before.
I've never seen two gingers together.
I've never seen that either. No.
Well,
But
I
at the same
see- I see
time,
that a lot. I got a
ginger with
butt-
green eyes.
I got a buddy
signs of
in-
incest. So you know.
or I got a friend of mine that's married to another ginger.
Really?
Yeah.
I live under a rock.
Ron Perlman always plays such a badass, but like in real life, he's such a sweetheart.
Yeah, he's always some asshole in a movie.
Yeah,
It's
he always plays like this, like Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
He's always like some asshole badass jerk.
Yeah.
But in real life, like he always did Hellboy at like children's hospitals, and like he always, he did a lot of charities, and he's just a big teddy bear.
I
like,
love Ron Perlman.
Yes.
I do. I love him to death, man.
Yes.
I forgot he was in this movie, and I'm like, dude, I miss Ron Perlman. Where's he at?
right.
What is he doing nowadays?
Right.
The last thing I saw him in was Don't Look Up, and it was a very small role.
Yes.
So, but I'm like, dude, where's he
That
at?
was a good
man?
movie too. By the way.
Here's a question though too. Like, just walking around, he was just walking around with a bloodstained jacket. Like,
Yeah.
Nobody's
Yeah.
like, hey, you might want to change.
It'd be
Or
funny.
something.
It'd be
You've
funny
got
if
red
somebody.
on you.
It'd be funny if
Die.
somebody did say something and he didn't even look at them. He just went nosebleed and kept walking.
Nosebleed.
Like, and it's clear down here, you know.
Yeah.
Nosebleed just keeps on walking.
No, you just said, no, you've got red in you.
You got red on you. That's funny.
Something.
If I saw his jacket like out in public, I wouldn't have even thought twice. Unless I smelled the blood on him, I would have thought it was just a design.
Why do you smell
Like-
so rusty?
Why did she hit him though? Like,
I think it was out of.
There's a lot of emotions that go through. You
yeah,
just lost
I
somebody
think it was
you
just
love,
out of pure
and
emotion.
You know he was part of it now.
I don't know. I mean,
and he took it too. He's like, I deserve that.
Yeah,
I know he did, but like, I don't know.
he knew it was coming.
Yeah, he expected.
Sure,
it. He was okay with
I
it.
know he did, but like, I'm not talking about that. I'm asking like, from her perspective, wouldn't that have been kind of a blessing in disguise?
Yeah, but
Not
still, though, I mean,
really,
I don't think
mean,
that she's the type of person that's going to wish ill on.
No, I'm
anybody.
not saying she's wishing it. I'm just saying like, you know, you don't have to hit the guy. You could have been like in your head like, oh,
Well,
I'm
she
such
could
a
have
bad
fucking kicked him in
person.
the nuts instead, but she didn't do that. She just smacked him in the face.
Why did she have to hit him at all?
Well,
Why
like
did there
I
have to
said,
be any violence
I
at
mean,
all?
think of it this way: she just lost somebody she loved.
She didn't love him anymore.
Mm,
We've already established that.
eh.
They do have a child together, though.
Yeah,
Sure.
she still
And there
cares
is
about
that.
him deeply.
Yeah.
Also,
No, I get
and
that.
she
I'm
knows
just
he
saying
so-
does
that
too.
there can
also-
always be like there's like the sadness, sure, but like
But what I'm saying is, she just lost him.
the only thing I can get behind like being angry because maybe she blamed him for getting him
Killed.
to do it, but the bottom line is like she can't really blame him because ultimately Standard's actions put them in that position.
Right.
true.
Yeah, but at
See
that
what I'm
point in
saying?
time,
Like,
you're
that-
not,
that's
you're
where
not
my-
going to be thinking logically like that.
Maybe I'm the only woman that does because I'm telling you, like because I don't like to apologize to people. Apologizing, if I have to apologize to somebody, like I'd rather get hit in the face. I'd rather get kicked in the shin repeatedly
I'm not
than
very-
apologize to
Ask
somebody.
Crystal. I'm not very good at apologizing.
I hate
either.
apologizing.
I'm
So
not good at
before
apologizing.
I lose my shit on somebody, before I get angry and start yelling or hitting I think about everything. So I guess in this scenario, like when she hit him, I'm like, why? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because Standard was the one that put them in that position.
Yeah.
And yeah, he talked him into doing it, but Standard was the one that put them in that position.
She didn't know that. though.
Ultimately. Yeah, she did. He was the one that was in prison.
Standard is the husband.
Yeah.
Never mind then. I
Yeah.
thought you were talking about the other.
No, Standard was the one in prison. She knew that Standard owed people money. I mean,
I think that
Right.
there's a lot of reasons why, you know what I mean, to argue why she would or would not have done it. But I think that it added to,
I guess
The
Eric
emotion.
Eric has the best response is that, emotions run high.
yeah.
I guess, but it just
But I
don't
will
know.
say that the scene where he walks into that strip club and smacks that dude's hand with a hammer,
Yeah, that was fucking
That
I was
awesome.
digging that.
Yeah, that was great.
And then all them naked bitches just sitting there like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Like they weren't even, they almost were emotionless from it. I'm
Yeah,
like,
well, I mean, they're in shock. I mean, you see some
I
guy
know
just
some of them are
randomly
just
walks in
ignoring
and
him though.
yeah.
Like
Well,
you
then
said-
like the scene where they're in the diner where it's Ron Perlman and the other dude. And,
oh yeah.
he stabs the fuck
And he
out
just
of him.
stabs the fuck out of this dude because you're
And
like,
he's like, now you can clean up my mess.
Well, the funny part is just like you wouldn't have gotten that idea from this guy until this point. You're like,
Right.
this guy seems like a pretty nice dude.
Yeah, you
And then he
think
just
that
starts
he's
stabbing.
kind of like
The voice of reason.
the voice of reason and the money guy.
Yeah.
You just think that like he's
He's kind of like, well, I've got a little
the
bit of faith in
business
this
partner,
kid. Blah blah blah.
like
you know,
maybe he's got a little bit of balls.
maybe he's
'cause
not such a bad
You know,
guy.
he's not going to be pushed around. You can tell he's not getting pushed around by
Yeah.
Nino, but like
But whenever he straight stabs that fucking dude in the eye with that fork, and then goes over and just
Yeah,
kills
now
his
you can
ass,
clean up
you're
my
like,
fucking
You're like,
mess.
oh damn, this guy's like the
He's
real
the
deal.
balls.
Vicious.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that guy was eating a burrito whenever like he got stabbed in the throat. Do you think he stabbed the burrito too?
probably.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
Yeah,
though.
there's probably a couple refried
this-
greens that came out with
Is
it.
that your phone?
Uh huh.
This was where I kind of got the idea that he was the big boss, though. And I'll tell you, there was a couple things that kind of keyed me into that. Was the very first time you see him when he goes into the pizzeria, and Nino comes walking in, and he's like, why are you eating that chink food in my restaurant?
Yeah.
And he just kind of rolls his eyes at him. And it's kind of like, okay, well, there's one, right? Because it's like, if there was any kind of power play there, you would think that he wouldn't have made that move, you know? So that was clue one for me.
That he was gonna die.
No, that the other guy was actually in charge, not Ron Perlman.
Gotcha.
And the other one was when they were talking about the racing and all of that, and they're in the garage, and Nino's talking all this smack to Shannon, and they're over in this corner and they're talking, and Nino's just running his mouth, and the other guy walks over to Driver and he's very calm, and he's talking to Driver, and he kind of makes very veiled threats, like, hey, I used to make movies, and there was this and there was that, and Shannon did this and Shannon did that, but if you do this, this is going to happen. And I was kind of like, calm, cool, collected, and he's making veiled threats. This guy, I think, is in charge.
Yeah, well,
that was my
you get that
second
idea
clue.
because the first thing that Ron Perlman does is come in and start bashing the car and turns around. Now this is a pussy magnet.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
I'm
Like the
like,
boisterous,
yeah, okay.
mouthy one. Like when that was my second clue. It was like when he walked in and started running his mouth like that, and then the other guy walks over here and starts talking to Driver. I was kind of like, yeah, I don't think you're in charge.
Yeah, we know who the brains is apparently.
Yeah. So I kind of already had that idea before that happened. But, yes, that was like the moment where you're like, yep, you are definitely not in charge.
So the part at the very end when they get to, he finally meets up with them. Everybody else is dead essentially
Yeah.
Right.
at this point except for Driver and what's his face. And they meet up and I'm like, okay, that part where he like pulls out the money and he stabs Driver and Driver stabs him back. Like I think up until this point I'm like, why? How did he let his guard down so simply? Just, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't think he did. I think he knew exactly what was going to happen. And one of two things. Either A, he knew it was going to happen and he was okay with dying because of, losing Irene and the kid, and like he was just over it. Or he knew it was going to happen. Either way, he knew what was going to happen. He knew it was going to happen, and he knew where to position himself so that it wouldn't kill him.
it wouldn't be fatal.
But, he knew how to position himself, but also he didn't want it to be one of those scenarios where the guy, didn't think that he was vulnerable. Like, he wanted him to think he was vulnerable so that he could get him.
Right. Yep.
You see what I'm saying? I think it's the latter, but I also think that the other one is plausible too.
I don't know, that long extended scene with him sitting in the car
That was a little
and he
too
doesn't
long.
blink.
Yeah, I know. I was like,
So is he dead?
I mean,
or-
I was like, I don't remember him dying.
Yeah. I couldn't remember either. I'm like, fuck, did he die right here? Or so like whenever that scene and then he finally blinked, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
in my head, I'm like, I don't remember him dying. So I don't think he
And I
dies.
was wondering if they were setting this up for a sequel.
Ryan Gosling has a strict no sequel rule.
Does he? Well, a lot of people do until they do it. Yeah, Adam Sandler had the same fucking role until he did Grown Ups too.
I'm just saying, so far he hasn't.
So, well,
I'm
either
not saying
way,
he never will, just saying that he hasn't so far, and
Right.
I don't think that he would yet. He's not to Adam Sandler's level of
yeah,
I need work yet. No
yeah.
offense,
I could definitely see them do it. Have you ever
Adam
seen The
Rowe?
Gray Man?
Adam. No, just
Have you seen The Gray
He likes
Man?
to take work jobs. The what?
The Gray Man on Netflix. It was an action thriller movie
Mm-mm.
with him in it. I could see him doing another one of those.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's
I
one of
haven't seen
those
that one yet.
espionage sort of movies where he's the baddest of the bad and, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I could see him doing another one of them, like, if they paid him the right amount of money, I think. But I don't know.
I don't.
Who
Yeah.
the fuck knows?
He seems to really kind of.
He is the type
Stick
of guy
with
that
his
kind of, he
guns.
seems like sticks to his guns and does what he likes, the projects that he feels most passionate about. Why do you think he's never been in a Marvel movie?
Yep.
So
He would make a great Marvel character, though.
oh, for sure. But he's the type of guy that's probably like, no, that's
No.
tasteless bullshit.
I wondered for a second, like, why did Shannon shake his hand knowing damn well everything that was going on? and I'm trying to get your guys' perspective because this is what I think happened. But, you know, in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, like, why would you shake his hand? You know he's out to kill you. You know, like, you're trying to pack your shit and get out of there before
Right.
he shows up. Like, you know this is about to end, blah, blah, blah. But I also think that Shannon had been dealing with these guys for so long that he kind of had deluded himself that they wouldn't hurt him.
I think that's where he stood too. I think he just thought, well, he won't hurt me. You know, we've been doing this for so long together that why would he just up and kill me now?
Yeah.
You know, and
Because he was the one that called him
in that
about,
right there,
you know, about
solidified
Driver.
how ruthless he actually is.
Yeah, like
you know?
he called him about Driver and was like, you know, I just wanted them to know you were just trying to give them the money back, and but you know, and that
Driver didn't like that very much.
no, but Driver knew them for what they were, and
Right.
Shannon was deluded enough. He literally thought they were friends, like that they were people, and they weren't. Like
Yep.
so that's. I still think the even there at the end when he shook his hand, he was still deluded enough that he thought that they weren't going to hurt him.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I don't think he understood the levity of the situation. So,
Yeah.
or the fact that like he fucked up.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Is
So,
like I think that
I
that's what
agree.
happened.
Yeah.
I think that's about all my notes.
Yeah, we covered everything I had.
That's about all
One other scene that I really thought was kind of funny was when he runs Ron Perlman off the road. Like he runs him off the road, right?
Oh yeah.
And he's like, "What the fuck was that?" So you're looking for a guy who drives. You know, he's a driver,
Right. And
And
you
you
just got
get
drove off
run.
the
You got
road.
run off the road, and you go, "What the fuck was that?" Car, driver, run off the road. 2 + 2 is 4.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I know,
So-
like Well, let's face it, Ron Perlman's character wasn't meant to be the smartest one. So
No.
So
That's fair. That's
I
fair.
have one more note on mine. So like the after the first scene where you know he did the driving and all that, cuts to the movie scene. Like he's on set.
Oh
At
yeah.
first, I thought he was a cop. I was like, oh, so he's a dirty
Me
cop.
too.
And then it's like, oh, no, I was like,
yeah, you saw that.
I
I
was
was like, oh, he's a cop.
I said he's a cop? Question mark. And then I was like, never mind.
My bad.
I do want to say though that mask was the freakiest thing in the whole movie.
Oh, I'll agree.
I loved it.
I want
But
one.
actually,
That was great.
those are actual movie.
Yeah,
Props
I
that
know,
they
that's
use.
The worst
Yeah.
part.
This
They
is like
use them
those
to-
immortal masks.
They use them
You ever seen
to
those?
so they
Yeah.
kind of look
I
like
want one.
Everyman, so you don't really notice.
Right.
You know,
Sometimes you can notice them in the movies though.
Oh yeah.
They're
Yeah,
a little
oh,
bit
yeah.
bigger than
especially when you see movies like this and you know what they look like,
Yeah.
and so then like now every time you watch a movie, you're gonna be like, yeah. Now I definitely
Now I know
see
what
it.
they. Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah. So, all right. Review time.
Let's go, this bitch.
Eric. Hey, you're on our timer. Timer.
timer.
Eric, what's your review?
All right. So my pros: I love the action in it, drama,
Was that?
dialogue worked for the movie. Yeah. So cons: I didn't like the score.
Fuck you.
I didn't like the score. Sorry, it just wasn't my forte. And some of the scenes just felt like it was a little dragged out. But overall, I still gave it an 8 out of 10. So,
All right. Joseph.
For me, I really liked. I liked the fact that there wasn't a lot of dialogue. I liked the fact that the actors could convey most of what needed to be said just through acting and the looks on their faces, their expressions. I love Bryan Cranston's character. I love Ron Perlman's character. I pretty much loved everybody's character in this movie because they all played a specific role that fed to the story. Even Oscar Isaac, you know what I mean? Like, I love Oscar Isaac. He's he's a great fucking actor.
Yeah.
The girl, the kid, and then especially Ryan Gosling, man. Like, just the way he only smiles whenever it comes to the kid and the woman. The look on his face, because he's always so straight-faced until those two are in the scene. That's the only time you see him with any kind of
Any
real
inflection,
emotion.
any emotion.
Yeah, any emotion. So I think that's great, and man, they use gore so well in this movie in just the right spots, and it's not oversaturated with it. It's kind of like just sprinkled in there.
Yeah.
The soundtrack is awesome. It really fits what I think they were going for this movie. Most of the cinematography is really good. I think it's really well done. But the biggest thing for me is I feel like some of the scenes could have been done. I feel like they could use better backdrops, I guess, for some of the scenes. It just because some of the backdrops were kind of just bland. They're like, oh, this just looks like any city. You know what I mean? And like it looked like it could be downtown Detroit or you know what I mean, like just anywhere.
It was
So that bothered me.
California,
And it was
though.
kind of like just a gray setting. It wasn't nothing fancy. You know what I mean? Like this is where they should have used more oversaturation in certain areas of the movie. I think it would have, if it was oversaturated, like we just watched Knock at the Cabin. If they would have used that, oh my god, this movie would have been gorgeous. It'd probably be a 9 out of 10.
I think they did well with the night scenes.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I think
In
they did
doing
well
that,
with the night scenes.
yeah.
But like the daytime scenes and stuff, just kind of like they're like,
They're boring.
It's almost like they went with that sepia tone.
kind
for
of
the
yeah.
daytime
And then it
scenes.
just seems like, like they like the scene with at the very end scene where he's giving
Well, the
the
outdoor
money.
daytime scenes.
Yeah, I'm
I-
like
I
they could have
think.
shot that in a Subway parking lot for all we know. You know what I mean? Just anywhere. So it's just I was kind of like I was just bored with it, kind of a little bit with that. But other than that, the whole movie overall is great, and I'm gonna go with Eric. I think it's an 8 out of 10 for me. I think it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
How about you, Madison?
I thought it was a great movie too.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the nighttime scenes, and I did love the soundtracks for it. They had really good music. I did love the acting. Little boy. I can't remember what he did, but he made me laugh internally.
I really like that when he said he's a bad guy, and he's like, "How can you tell?" And he's like, "He's a shark."
He's a shark.
I like that scene.
Yeah. I don't really know how to explain how I like movies. I just like some movies and I don't like some movies.
Yeah.
But
Go from the gut. You don't have to.
I'm not really a big fan of action movies, but I like this one.
I think this one works because it's action, but there's more story.
Mhm.
The action just plays out when it has to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I'll give this one a 7.
7?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for me, again, soundtrack. I love the soundtrack. I think it fits the movie. It helps to build a certain mood for the movie. The cinematography, especially for the night scenes, I think it pushes that same mood as the soundtrack does. I'll go with you a little bit on the daytime scenes. I think that they could have done better with the saturation, and especially for the outdoor scenes, I feel like they use like sort of the sepia tone that works a little better for movies that are like, like those apocalypse movies where they've got like this, sandy or, desert feel or whatever. And I don't know, those were kind of off for me a little bit, but overall the cinematography was good. Acting was amazing. It didn't matter who was on screen. They all did wonderful. Even the kid. I mean, the thing I liked about the kid was that he did sort of the same thing as Ryan Gosling. He didn't have a lot of talking that he had to do, but he conveyed a lot just from
His looks,
looking
conveyed
at
his
you
emotions.
or when he hands him that bullet, like that scene right there between the two of them with so little
that was
dialogue.
a huge tonal shift in the movie.
Yeah.
for
Yeah, and just the exchange between the two of them with almost no dialogue at all between that child and that adult was amazing to me. That scene alone was great. But there's so many other scenes that were amazing as well. But I could go on and on about the things I really liked. There's not a lot of things I can say that I didn't like, so I have to go with you guys, and I'm gonna say like an 8 out of 10 battery.
It'll be all right.
So yeah, that's where we are on reviews. So pretty close for everybody. 8, 8, 8, 7.
It's not bad. That's pretty
Nope.
good.
So for Rotten Tomatoes, what do you guys think the critics did?
75.
All right,
75?
40.
I think it's way higher than that.
where are you at?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, with critics, yeah.
I want to think
I'm
it's
still
in the
gonna say
90s. Because I know whenever this movie came out, it was very, very positive, and people really received it well. And I think that even now, I think it's still a cult hit
The
for
critics?
people. Mhm.
Yeah, critics.
I think it's low 90s. I'm gonna go, but it might not be.
You say 90, you're still closer to the 90s.
I need a number, man.
Fuck it. 92.
Oh, this is coming down to the wire. Now she has to do math in her head.
What do I got to do math for? Joseph got it.
Oh.
Damn near on the nose, 93.
93%. Told you, low 90s.
When you said low 90s, I'm like, come on, I wanted to.
I don't think
like,
any
on
of
the
us has
nose.
gotten a score on the nose yet.
No, I
Yeah.
did that one time. There
Did
was
you?
one that was like 96 or something. It
Oh,
was one.
did you?
Yeah, I don't remember which one it was though. What about the audience? Where are you guys at with the audience?
I think the audience is still going to be high, too. I don't think it's going to be as high as critics, though.
88.
Oh.
Haha.
He's like, you
I was going to
bastard.
say 87.
I'm going to stick with my 90. I'm going to go 90.
Mm. Now I do have to do math. Where's 79% at? You guys do the math for me, because that's what it is.
It's 79%. Who had the other score? What was the other
She
score?
had 87. I
87.
had 89. If it was 79,
He's at
she got
88
Yeah, 88. He
and
had
9.
90.
So she
Then
had
she would have
7.
had-
it.
So she got it. Good job.
Oh, so it's actually a lot lower, huh?
Yeah.
I guess so.
I don't
I guess I
understand
could
that.
see how this could be a critical darling, and this would be
The audience
you
just
know,
doesn't
audience
really
kind of was
catch
like,
it.
eh.
Some of
I
them
think- I
really
think it's
good
probably
loved
the
it.
nut-
I'll be
the-
honest, I don't really get that.
The low
Yeah,
dialogue, the
Because I hated it the first time. And
That's true.
well, I didn't hate it the first time. I just was kind of, I was lame.
Yeah.
I don't know.
like I said, probably low dialogue for a lot of audience people were probably not feeling it.
Yeah, a lot of dumb
Right.
people don't get low dialogue. I don't need dialogue to propel the story. I think
Face
it's better
don't
when it
need
doesn't
dialogue.
I think it's better when it doesn't need the dialogue. With its hyper stylized blend of violence, music, and striking imagery, Drive represents a fully realized vision of art house action. That's the critics' consensus. No, just no. 3 out of 10. This is an awful movie, perhaps all the more so because there were the ever so slight hints that it might have been good. Watch the first half hour. Gosling's unnamed character, when spoken to, takes ridiculously long
He didn't have a
pauses. No. Upwards of 10 seconds to respond. Okay. That, alright.
It's supposed to be like
1 out of 10, the very definition of dreadful. Seriously, there are times when I just don't get this site. I get that people have different tastes in movies, but this movie has a ridiculously high rating. To be perfectly blunt about it, it's dreadful. If you look up the word dreadful in the dictionary, I'm sure there will be some reference to Drive in the definition.
This is the same.
How
kind
clever
review.
of you to
Right.
say it like that.
It takes almost half the movie before we really get a sense of where this is going, and even then it doesn't become very interesting. It's ridiculously and often graphically bloody and makes terrible use of bad music to try to build suspense. Ryan Gosling is the star of this.
Eric's like, yeah, you're right.
Shut up,
I
Eric.
Eric.
I agree with
I
that.
can get behind that part.
Shut up, Eric. Ryan Gosling is the
Dreadful
star of
music.
this. He plays a Hollywood stunt driver who also moonlights as a driver for more than a few shady characters. One thing I have discovered over the years is that people get caught up in the hype about a movie, and when it turns out to be dreadful, they can't admit that they got caught up in the hype. So rather than calling it a good movie, it becomes an artistic masterpiece or some such thing.
That's probably why I hated it to begin with. It's because everyone's like, "Oh, the movie's so good, man."
Trying to come up with.
Yeah, like artistically, it's such a good movie.
You
And I
know,
watched it,
that
I was
might
like,
have been it because both you and I have the
Yeah,
same attitude.
we get like
they're
that
like
about shit.
they're like, oh, it was this and it was that.
Yeah.
No, it was a fucking movie about a guy who drives a car.
And that's
like,
why none of us liked Infinity Pool. Because we're like,
Yeah.
I don't fucking like this movie because
I still don't-
I didn't want an artistic masterpiece.
I'm gonna go
I
out
wanted
on a
I'm
a
limb
still
now.
not going to like that movie.
I was gonna say
Even-
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say in like 10 years I'm still not gonna like it.
No, for sure. I'm still not gonna like that movie.
fucking psychedelic artsy bullshit.
Until 10 years from now, I'm like, I don't know, dude. Just try rewatching it once.
Mm-mm.
You might feel
No.
differently.
I don't think I will.
No.
The rest of these are really
be like
long, so I'm
Megan.
not gonna read
Yeah.
them. They're like stupid long.
All right.
But yeah, most people are just stupid about this, I guess.
It's like rewatching that
Yeah.
Megan R-rated version. I'm not going to do
Oh,
it.
it's up now. Rotten Tomatoes is.
Is it seriously?
Oh, it's because we're done.
Son of a bitch.
You don't have to read it.
No,
I'm sure you got trivia, don't you?
I
It
do.
was like, oh, they're done. Put it back up so other people can read.
All right, so here's
You
the.
got some trivia?
I got some trivia.
Sweet ass trivia with Karen.
Okay.
So, trivia for Drive. In preparation for his role, Ryan Gosling restored the 1973 Chevy Malibu that his character uses in the film.
I do like that Malibu.
I do
It was
too.
pretty sweet.
Despite the driving storyline, director Nicholas Winding Refn has no interest in cars. He doesn't have a driver's license and has failed his driver's license 8 times.
Oh my god.
Who?
the director.
Failed his driver's license 8 times.
8
Like Grandpa.
times.
Grandpa never got his license. You remember that?
No, but this guy directed a movie about like,
Yeah,
called
Grandpa
Drive.
wasn't directing movies about cars.
yeah. Ryan Gosling replaced Hugh Jackman in this film. I had no idea that anybody else was even
I didn't either. Hugh
considered
Jackman. Huh?
Hugh Jackman.
That's, I don't know.
I don't think so. He can't. I don't.
I don't think it would pull the same weight
No.
as it did with Ryan Gosling.
No.
I think it still would have worked, and it still would have been a fine movie. But Ryan Gosling made it work in a different way
Yeah.
because of his facial expressions and things like that.
I think Hugh Jackman can pull calm and collected.
But he doesn't
not-
have the face like Ryan. That
No.
intense look on his face like
No.
Ryan Gosling.
Who's Hugh Jackman?
Wolverine.
Wolverine.
I was going to say
Oh, okay,
they should have
yeah.
casted him, but he had to have his claws out while he was driving.
Oh God. After Ryan Gosling and Nicholas Winding Refn removed much of Driver's dialogue, this is what we're talking about. Bryan Cranston felt that his character Shannon should make up for the lack of talking in the film, and thus made Shannon a motor mouth. Much of the dialogue was improvised. The driver and Irene actually say very little to each other, primarily because Ryan Gosling and Carey Mulligan felt that their scenes should be more focused on the mood and refused to say many of the scripted lines. Mulligan summarized making the film as staring longingly at Ryan Gosling for hours each day.
I'm sure she just did that anyway, though. It's
I mean,
Ryan
I
Gosling.
would. I would. Albert Brooks was in character when he met Nicholas Winding Refn, pinning him against a wall and speaking in a threatening manner. Brooks shaved his eyebrows for his role to make his character more emotionless. I didn't even notice that the dude didn't have eyebrows.
I did notice that because I'm like, because he's in Little Nemo or Finding Nemo.
Yeah, but I didn't even notice he didn't have eyebrows.
I've seen him before. I've seen him in other movies and stuff. That's why I was like, why does he look so weird? And it's always the eyebrows.
I
for
didn't
me.
even notice. I've
I
seen
did.
him in other stuff. I'd never noticed he didn't have
Never
eyebrows in
noticed,
this
yeah.
movie. Bryan Cranston was one of the first actors. I'm not going to keep saying his name. The director looked to cast, as he was a fan of Breaking Bad. Knowing Cranston had other opportunities, Winding Refn tried to interest him by asking how he would like to develop the role. After not hearing back, the director called him at the very same time that Cranston was writing on a piece of paper the pros and cons of doing the film. Moved by the interest, he accepted the part. The opening chase scene was primarily filmed by the director within the car's interior. In an interview, the director revealed the idea for this scene was to emulate the feeling of a diver in an ocean of sharks, never leaving the vehicle during a car chase so that the audience can see what's happening from the character's point of view. Tight on money and time, he shot the scene in 2 days with 2 different setups prepared in the car. The director found it difficult to have mobility with the camera, so he would then switch the camera to 2 additional setups nearby. As downtown Los Angeles had changed for the better, Refn avoided certain areas to preserve the gloomy atmosphere. Additionally, the scene was shot at low angles with minimum light. So they literally had to go to the bad areas of LA to shoot, because some areas had gotten better.
That's fucking weird to say about LA too, because
Right?
it's a fairly shitty city.
Right. Ron Perlman won the role of Nino after explaining to Nicholas Winding Refn that he wanted to play a Jewish man who wants to be an Italian gangster, because that's what he is, a Jewish boy from New York.
I didn't even know that Ron Perlman was Jewish, because he doesn't look Jewish at all, or act Jewish for that matter. Because he's just a big hulking dude that has this big mouth and this very large face.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't look Jewish to me. He looks I mean, I wouldn't say he looks Italian, but he definitely looks like he could come from the Bronx. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
yeah, he looks like a New Yorker.
Yeah.
In an interview for this film, Ryan Gosling stated that he always wanted to act out a superhero role, but the good ones were taken. The driver character is something of a superhero with the scorpion jacket as a costume. Gosling later turned down the role of the Joker in the Suicide Squad due to his no sequel role. The unusual way Ryan Gosling's driver holds the steering wheel with the thumbs crooked over the outside rather than hooked inside in a more normal grip is actually the common way stunt drivers hold the wheel to avoid broken thumbs during vehicle impacts.
Why don't we all just hold our thumbs like that?
Do you plan on hitting something?
I mean, no, but it's always a possibility for something to hit you.
It's kind of one of those professional things. You know, a lot of professions have secrets of the trade. I would imagine that's one of them. You know, like boxers have certain ways that they hold their fists so that they don't break certain fingers. So, I mean, you know, like when I'm fighting somebody, I don't think about how I'm holding my fingers. I just punch them. I mean, so, I don't know. Although many stunt drivers are credited, Ryan Gosling did a number of stunts himself.
Kind of like how porn stars bleach their buttholes. It's like a inside.
You know, people tattoo their buttholes now, like to the color that they want.
That is so.
Can you imagine how itchy that would be when
Or
it starts
painful?
to like? Could you imagine how itchy?
Could you
it would
imagine
be, though?
sitting
Like,
through that tattoo session?
but how itchy that would be?
Could you imagine being the tattoo artist? Somebody comes in and says,
Oh, what if
"Hey,
they farted when they were
can you
doing it?
tattoo my butthole?" They'd be like,
I've heard of people that'll get a tattoo of an octopus that comes out of their ass.
"That's amazing. That is
Yeah.
awesome." Because
But-
when they spread their cheeks, it's like the octopus's mouth or whatever.
Probably.
But like
Probably,
seriously,
yeah.
like okay. But number one, like when you gotta go poo, right? Well, it's like
You're
Healing.
You're inking.
and then
You're inking.
Yeah. And then like when it would be so itchy, like when it's
Yeah.
healing.
Not
Fuck
to mention,
that.
like, I bet that's a pain in the ass to keep. Literally. I was gonna say to keep it clean, but
Yeah,
I didn't even realize that was a pun.
Could
till
you
after I
imagine
said
like
it.
you have to hold open your ass, honey, can
get
you
the wet
can you
wipes,
rub
get
that
the wet
AND
wipes.
on
Yeah,
here?
can you rub the A&D on my butthole?
Get the Neosporin.
Being a real pain in the ass.
Oh god. Okay, anyway. Although many stunt drivers are credited, Ryan Gosling did a number of stunts himself after completing a stunt driving crash course. Consistent with the director's usual visual style, wide-angle lenses were heavily used by cinematographer Newton Thomas Sigel. Handheld camera work was avoided, preferring to keep the film more grounded and authentic. He also avoided use of computer-generated imagery, and the inability to afford CGI due to budgeting restrictions also played a factor in this decision. Best decision ever. Drive was the inspiration for the incredible popular indie game Hotline Miami, according to its creator Jonathan Soderstrom. Bryan Cranston had previously guest starred in a 1998 episode of The X-Files called Drive. This was his first collaboration with screenwriter Vince Gilligan, who, impressed by his performance as a sympathetic villain in this episode, would later cast him as Walter White on Breaking Bad, which ultimately led to him being cast in Drive. So there was kind of like a full circle there. I thought that was neat. According to the director, the film's romance was partially inspired by the films of John Hughes. Producers Mark Platt and Adam Siegel of Mark Platt Productions optioned the novel after Siegel read a review in Publishers Weekly. The driver intrigued Siegel because he was the kind of character you rarely see anymore. He was a man with a purpose. He was very good at one thing and he made no apologies for it. The character interested Platt because he reminded him of the movie heroes that he looked up to as a child, characters typically portrayed by Steve McQueen or Clint Eastwood. When Gosling signed on for the lead role, he was allowed to choose the director, which was a first in his career. The actor chose Danish filmmaker Nicholas Winding Refn, whose work he admired. He said it had to be him and there was no other choice. The director's inspiration came partly from reading Grimm's fairy tales, and his goal was to make a fairy tale that took Los Angeles as the background. With the driver as the hero to play the common theme of fairy tales, the driver protects what is good while at the same time killing degenerate people in violent ways. For his role in this film, Ryan Gosling chose to always have a toothpick in his mouth as a tribute to his father, who always had some kind of stick in his mouth. This is
Kind of dick in his mouth.
stick.
Oh, sorry,
Jesus
I misinterpreted
Christ.
that. I'm pretty sure you said dick, but hey,
Stick.
whatever you think.
I knew you would say
You can rewind it and find out.
I can't rewind it.
It's live.
When you go through
It's
it.
recording. I will. And you know what? I'm going to message you and be like, told you,
You
you
said
said
dick.
dick.
No, I totally said stick. Included among the 1001 movies you should see
Go and
before you
bleep it
die,
out.
edited by
You're
Steven
edited
Schneider.
out.
He's probably going to edit it because he's a dick.
No, I'm gonna
Right there.
I'm gonna
You can
sample
loop
it
that.
in that
You
says
can loop
dick.
that right
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
She
I'm
That's
gonna
what
just
sample it. I'm gonna edit it so that it does sound like
Because I
you
just
said dick.
because I just said dick, so
now
he's
you
going to go
take
back
that,
and edit
caption
it. So
No,
that
it's not
it
even gonna be
sounds
your
like-
voice. It's gonna be me saying dick over your voice.
He's just going to do it badly, just so
Yeah.
That's funnier. Although this is a
A
quiet
robot
crime
voice.
thriller, the trailers gave the impression that it was a car chase film like the Fast and Furious films. One woman even sued because she did not get that sort of film.
Wow. How
What?
can you sue
Hey.
for
Sued
that?
for that?
I got
She
an
did.
idea for when you do that. Use Paul Rudd's Diok.
Dick.
What a Karen.
Right?
What a Karen.
While watching a cartoon, Benicio assumes one of the characters is a villain because he's a shark, to which Driver replies, "Are there no friendly sharks?" In Finding Nemo, Albert Brooks, who plays Bernie in this movie, voiced a fish, Marlin, who encounters a vicious-looking shark that
Named
actually turns
Bruce.
out to be quite friendly.
Bruce.
Throughout this film, Albert Brooks plays against his usual role, which he was always typecast to play. He was always neurotic, wimpy, unlucky, an excessive complainer, and cannot get what he wants in life. Throughout the film, he portrays confidence, a man to be respected and feared, one who has a sense of control over his life and violent when pushed. Driver references the fable of the scorpion and the frog. A frog agrees to carry a scorpion across the river if the scorpion promises not to sting the frog. The scorpion does promise, but halfway across the river he stings the frog anyway, saying, "It's my nature," and they both drown. Driver can be seen as the frog in this story. He carries criminals, the scorpions, around in his car, but he is inevitably dragged into their destructive world, stung, leading to everybody's downfall. Driver's jacket has a scorpion on the back, just as the frog carried the scorpion on his back in the fable. Bryan Cranston was the one who suggested the way his character will die, the specific way the wrist will be cut during a reading with the director. As Ryan Gosling's character walks into the trailer to make the to get the bald-headed mask, 3 makeup heads or sculpts of Christina Hendricks' head that they used for the shot
Oh, yeah.
can be seen in the
I
background.
thought I was wondering what that was because I saw him there.
According to the director, the head stomp scene was severely edited because the ratings board thought it was too violent.
Wow.
The director,
Kind of was.
pretty
It was pretty
fucking
violent.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was supposed to be worse.
No, it wasn't.
What do you
I thought
mean?
it was fine.
It was supposed to be worse. It was supposed to be more violent.
That's what I'm saying. It was supposed to be worse. Like it,
There's worse than The Walking Dead.
Yeah, but those are zombies, though.
So
There's a difference.
they stomped in. Nuh-uh, because Rick stomped that one guy's in that one time.
I don't know.
Baseball bat.
He did. He got really angry. Yeah, and Negan.
It's an
bashed
R-rated
the
movie
brains.
anyway, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. So I don't understand how much worse could it be.
NC-17. I don't know.
No, it's
Even
not near that
Daryl's-
violent.
Bash somebody's brains in, like a living person.
I don't know.
The director reportedly filmed a scene where the driver actually dies after he and Bernie stab each other. It was said to be used during an early test screening and didn't do well.
I would have agreed. I don't think I would have liked it as much either.
I don't think I would.
I think
either.
that him living and going on, sailing off into the, driving off into the sunset by himself was a good conclusion.
What was the comeuppance for the scorpions?
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
the fable. If you go with the fable, I mean, those assholes deserve to die, and he's sort of he's the justice.
Exactly.
should-
And I
he should
agree with it.
live on.
I don't think that he should have died, so
No.
I think that's a good ending.
One of the first drafts of the script had a completely different second half than the final movie. After the part where the driver talks with Irene after his meeting with Cook, where he realizes the real motives behind the robbery that he did with Standard, the driver takes Irene out to make her feel better. She then gets killed by a hitman who was actually sent by Nino to kill the driver, who then chases him in his Impala and eventually crashes into the hitman's car, only managing to kill the hitman's driver. While he escapes later in the script, the driver manages to find him and kill him with razor wire. The driver's character also had some more scenes in this draft focusing on him and his problem of losing control and having rage attacks. At one point, after an egotistic stuntman starts messing with him during the filming of a very difficult chase scene, the driver crashes the stuntman off the road and ends up beating him so badly that he breaks the stuntman's jaw. The ending of this draft was also different. After killing the hitman who killed Irene, the driver sneaks into Nino's beach house and kills all of his bodyguards and drowns him. And after killing Bernie Rose in the same way that he kills him in the movie, a heavily wounded driver decides to leave Los Angeles in order to protect Irene's son and Benicio. And his old friend Shannon, who unlike in the movie is not killed in this earlier draft, finds Benicio and helps him or takes him to a ranch far away from Los Angeles and raises him.
I think
That's an okay sounding movie, but I think the issue with that is you don't get. I don't like the rage thing.
That's what I was going to say. I don't like the rage attack.
I don't like the rage attack thing. I like the fact that
he was
Ryan
calm.
Gosling's character was calm and collected, because that made him smarter. Because he was always calm and he was always
He walked in with that hammer and was just like bam. Didn't even.
He was always calm and collected and emotionless, and I like that. Like, I guess the rest of the movie, like as that, like with that storyline, would have been okay.
I like how the movie just turned out.
I would have liked to have seen it.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen it, but
compare the
I think
two.
in contrast, it wouldn't have worked as well, because killing off Irene would drag too much bullshit. Exactly, I like that, and I like the idea of Shannon getting his, surrogate son. You know what I mean? Like someone he can raise, as his own.
Yeah,
and that would be really cool, because those are honestly two of the people in the movie who you can relate with and feel the most bad for, along with the mother, of course.
Yeah.
But in that draft, she died, so...
Yeah. And I mean, you can't feel too sorry for Shannon, because he wasn't all the way innocent.
Right, I understand.
But...
in that draft, though, he might have been.
He might have been, yeah.
So he might have been written a little bit...
Yeah, he might have been different.
A bit of a different character.
Yeah, he might have been.
So...
But yeah, I didn't like the rage attack thing. That is a complete no-no.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I don't like that at all. Like, if they... That and the ending where he goes in, gets in and kills all of his men and then drowns him. That just sounds like the end of a Punisher movie or something.
Yeah, I like that he did not kill very many people. That his attacks, so to speak, or his
are thought out.
Yeah. When he goes after somebody or whatever, he doesn't kill unless he has to, or he doesn't.
It's methodic.
Yeah, he's going in, he goes in there with a hammer, smashes dude's hand because he wants information.
He didn't kill him.
The only reason he killed the guy in the elevator is because he'd seen Irene. He knew where she lived. Like he knew that guy was going to take information back. Like there was no choice there.
Yeah.
He had to kill Nino, and he had to kill. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, I don't agree. I agree with you though that like no rage outburst. Like that just they do that in too many movies for one. Like it's overdone. Oh, the hero's got a rage problem that he, that's his arc is he figures out how to control his rage, and no, fuck that. Yeah. I'm tired of seeing that.
Yeah.
If you watch Ninja Turtles
show me a guy that knows how to deal with it already.
You watch Ninja Turtles enough, that's Raphael's arc in every fucking movie.
Yes.
Every movie is him getting over his rage problems.
Yeah.
And in the next movie, he's got rage problems again. So...
That's how it is in every episode, too.
Yeah. Like, I'm over it, dude. Like, I don't need to see a bunch of heroes with rage issues, because they're only 5 seconds away from just being bad guys.
It's way more interesting that he can keep his composure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way more interesting, because that gives you a character worth watching, that makes it makes for a more interesting watch, and to see his character throughout the movie and interact, like that's way more interesting than this guy who's just got anger issues.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
If I want to see that, I'll go back to getting smacked around by my dad, Yeah. That never happened. That's not true. I didn't get smacked around by my dad.
Yeah, that's really where I'm at with it too.
But yeah.
So, who's up next week?
Eric!
All right, so you gotta pull something.
All right, pulled something in my back.
Broke a hip. He's old.
What you got?
I've got two. I'm trying to drop one.
We only do one movie a week, man.
Yeah, please God.
Make an exception.
We did 2 one time. That was rough.
Yeah, our first episode.
I know.
Annihilation.
Annihilation.
Oh boy, that's that Natalie Portman. Oscar Isaac is also in this.
That does not ring any bells with me.
No,
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
It is on Netflix, I believe.
Annihilation. A biologist signs up for a dangerous secret expedition into a mysterious zone where the laws of nature don't apply. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
How old is the movie?
Just a few years old.
I think I might have seen it.
I got
maybe.
Paramount Plus, Roku, Freevee.
Oh, maybe it's not a Netflix movie then. I thought it was exclusively on Netflix.
No, I got Paramount Plus, Roku, and Freevee is where it's streaming. Roku and Freevee are both free, and then Paramount Plus, of course, is Paramount Plus. Yeah, so that's where it's at.
Paramount Plus.
So there's your synopsis, because I had no clue what we were talking about. 2018.
I have never seen this movie. I saw the first 20 minutes of this movie and turned it off because I don't know if I wasn't in the mood for it or not but it's a horror movie.
Oh.
And it's on the vein of, what do they compare this movie to? Apparently it's a really good fucking movie though.
Yeah.
I've
I've never
not
seen her in a horror movie. Natalie Portman.
It's not your typical horror movie where it's like really dark. It's actually a really colorful movie. And
So I'm getting the sense that it's sort of like one of those horror movies that are, well, maybe not.
this zone that they're talking about is an area where I don't know if it's an
Oh, hey, Jennifer
extraterrestrial.
Jason Leigh's on this too.
Yeah, she is actually. But like this area is like infested with like an alien form of some kind that's evolving this plant life and these animals in it. So it gets very colorful and
kinda
also
like
very
Evolution.
graphic, huh?
Kinda
Yeah,
like
but not
Evolution.
funny.
Yeah, but not funny
Oh.
exactly. So like it looks really cool, and I've heard a
Stop
lot of
singing
good things.
because you are embarrassing. me.
Evolution recast.
So it'll be an interesting one, I think, to watch. Especially
Yeah,
since I've never actually
I've never
seen
even heard of it. Honestly,
It came out-
Lubricant.
it. When did it come out?
2018.
2018. So
I
yeah,
said
it's a
that.
few years old.
Yeah.
I think you'll like this one more than anybody, though, Karen.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
never even heard of it.
I'm surprised Jeremiah hadn't already watched it. You guys hadn't already.
He
seen
may
it.
have. I don't know. I don't. And
I think once you actually see the trailer or something,
you know,
you'll
it'll
be
be
like,
funny.
"Oh yeah, I remember."
It'll be funny if I have like seen this because that's happened to me before. But like, I don't know this fucking movie. And I'll
Yeah.
sit down and be like,
I feel like this
I've
is
seen
one.
This.
Either you
One
haven't
too
seen
many
it
times.
and you don't remember, or you haven't seen it, but you were like, "I need to watch that." It's one of those situations.
I don't know.
You know?
We'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
Anyway, next week, Annihilation, and Eric's hosting. It's him.
I'll try to
Eric.
do better this time.
You'll do better.
I'll do better.
I'll do better, Daddy.
You actually hear me talk more next week.
Yeah, he'll have to talk. He'll have to talk.
And
next
then the
week.
week after that, Madison will host.
Are you ready?
Oh, she'll be all
Not
right.
right now. I'm not.
You'll be all right. We'll keep the notes up for you.
Yeah.
We'll keep them up for a while.
She barely spoke during this episode.
Did too. I spoke.
She spoke.
I
She
used
spoke.
words.
I use words.
She
Shut
used
up.
her big girl words.
I'm a big girl, Daddy.
I'm a big kid now.
So next week, Annihilation and Eric's up, and that's it. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Oh, bye.
Bye.